Here's an idea. What if we are the minions? So I want to be perfectly honest. Having now watched several of the movies, I am still not entirely sure what exactly a minion is. But that doesn't really matter since, one, that kinda seems to be the point, and two, I am sure of the fact that they are everywhere. Movies, flatware, toys, games, clothing, BuzzFeed lists about the fact they are everywhere. Minions are like the gray goo of media culture right now, an endlessly expanding mass, rapidly growing and replicating, filling in every gap, consuming every resource and converting it to a like substance until there is nothing that is not begoggled, pill-shaped, and yellow. Stopping short of overdramatic predictions of fire, brimstone, and overall end times presaged by Kevin, Stewart, or Bob, let's agree that the Minion does occupy a particular place in the pantheon of cartoon cinema characters. Their existence, their very narrative purpose, is predicated upon the purpose others have for them. They are legion, but they are legion for higher? I don't know, that seems wrong.
Answer to an even higher authority.
There's something endemic to minionness, which predisposes them to seek the service of a nefarious head honcho. Theirs is not work, it's need, but it is also fraught. Minions search for ever more powerful villains to assist, and through wacky hijinks resulting from that assistance, undo. This is the bizarre duality of the minion, to always be working, almost reflexively toward a world where the very thing required for survival is eradicated, or at the very least, disempowered, which, I mean, they're sort of doing in our world too, right? If we think of Universal's ubiquitous marketing material minions as minions themselves, and I mean, why wouldn't we? The twofold purpose of these round yellow dudes remains, assuming we choose to consider major market entertainment as some kind of villain. On the one hand, those minions help to accomplish the task every major motion picture studio needs to accomplish: advertising, marketing, brand building. The more ever-present the goggled horde, the more accustomed we become to them. The more accustomed, the more comfortable, the more likely, when given the chance, we react positively to the suggestion of going to see what this Minion movie is all about anyway. I don't know, it looks fun, you guys, don't you think? Mere exposure effect in action, among many other things. But on the other hand, we also reach a saturation point. We reach peak minion. When the gray minion goo has consumed all available resources and what's left is only the irreducible superalloyed resolve of hardened internet posters, the backlash begins and spreads. It might be small at first, relegated to corners of the internet where nothing is sacred, there is only the profane, and the mere visibility or even existence of something is justification for taking it down a peg. But as simultaneously the gray goo minion process continues in other corners of the internet, on our parents' and grandparents' Facebook pages, in Instagrams posted by former coworkers or high school friends, it's easier to recognize the utility of a strict acerbic cynicism, of wanting to distance ourselves from the hordes of minion lovers by advertising our minion intolerance far and wide. This is the undoing effect, the disempowering minion effect. So in Meat Space, as in the films, the minions, which have set out to expand the empire of their questionably hostile ringleaders, ultimately construct something of a downfall by virtue of their very nature. Bumbling, corny, ubiquitous. But what if this is all wrong, or partly wrong, and the minions are not really the minions, or in addition to the minions being the minions, we also are the minions? Hear me out. First, it's easy to see people non-ironically celebrating their love of minion kind as fitting the minion mold. But what about the flip side of the yellow coin? Posting vicious minion hate. That might also accomplish the same spreading of the minion sermon. It might even be exactly what we are supposed to do, our purpose. I don't mean in the grand spiritual sense, in that our ultimate purpose here on Earth is to hate upon bits of popular culture like likely to stand the test of time in a manner comparable to sand drawings made at low tide or an open bag of kibble in the presence of an unattended toddler. I'm asking if it is our purpose in the eyes of the producers, the people making and selling the Minions. Are we in some way channeling the Minions by helping their grand project of making sure Minions are everywhere, while we intend to hinder it by grumbling? A kind of reverse Minion reflex. S. Benthal raised a question on Twitter in response to an All article titled, "How Minions Destroyed the Internet." When we talk about media we don't like, in ways which makes it super clear that we don't like it, are we still possibly perpetuating the theoretical hierarchies we've discussed in recent episodes of Idea Channel? Even reacting disparagingly, it's possible that we are laboring for unseen, profiting producers in that we're talking about their thing. And what's worse, maybe we're constructing the idea that we are in control. Haha, your movie is dumb. I used it as fodder for my internet humor machine. Look how dumb it is. Your movie. So dumb. When in reality, the greatest and most practical effect is that more and more people seeing more and more Minions think, what is the deal with this whole Minions thing? This is a conundrum in two parts, I think. First, the age-old and essential question, is there such a thing as bad publicity? And second, whatever the publicity, can or should we be cognizant and avoidant of reinforcing cultural hierarchies? Even in our joking judgment of the Minions, maybe it's important to be earnest in our condemnation, to remind people of that power dynamic. Minions are everywhere because Universal Pictures has paid literally millions of dollars to guarantee that is the case. The goal is that you feel tyrannized by them, that if you are not familiar, you feel like an outsider. The foundation for their popularity may be economically constructed, but clearly hundreds of thousands of people have adopted it in earnest? Can we even say it's earnest at this point? Mere exposure effect in action, among other things. Telling people they don't actually like the things that they like is complicated and dangerous business. It sets up a whole other kind of hierarchy. So we're gonna table that talk and instead focus on this other question. Can you talk smack, or even just critically, about something without helping it accomplish its goals, without also advertising it? This is tough because advertising, like pornography and a mediocre toupee, is really something you just kind of know it when you see it. For the advertising industry specifically, all of the things that you and I would confidently label as advertisement comprise advertising. Nothing more, nothing less. The late great ad man Winston Fletcher described ads as paid-for communication intended to inform and or persuade one or more people. So in the strict and literal sense, no. Minion hate memes and critical pop culture analysis of Minions, like this video, are not advertising. But ads exist as a function of many things. The coexistence of spaces and populations which sustain and respond to them, competing products and services which require them, because if it's the only one or one of a kind, why advertise? That's how Huifang feels about Sriracha, at least. But most importantly, advertisements exist because we, the consumers, have free time. There are times and spaces where we are open and receptive, sometimes passively, to advertising.
It's better in a bacon bowl.
But as the spaces which seem appropriate to place advertising become more numerous, and as our free time may or may not continually resemble structured work, we've become hyper-attuned and incredibly suspicious of being advertised to, sneakily, dishonestly, in the sense that we are being communicated to about something, and the aims of that communication are unclear. Insofar as we generally consider advertising something which could potentially increase the awareness and therefore profitability of anything, then these things are almost certainly advertising. Griping about the ubiquity of some bothersome thing reinforces the idea that it is ubiquitous. Subjecting something to the particular brand of internet cynicism we're talking about reinforces the idea that it is worthy of scorn. And if it happens absent a literal functional reminder of the context in which such things are capable of being made and plastered onto what sometimes feels like literally every object in existence, then maybe we have adopted the role of some kind of reverse minion, a laboring mass intending to disempower these things, to take them down a peg while simultaneously being very helpful? What do you guys think? How does Minion hate and things like it count or not count as advertising? Let us know in the comments, and I will respond to some of them in next week's comment response video. In this week's comment response video, I talk about your thoughts regarding the 3 laws of the internet episode, and man, do I have some explaining to do. If you want to watch that, you can click right here. This week's episode was brought to you by the hard work of these minions. We have a Facebook, an IRC, and a subreddit. Links in the doobly-doo. I also have a small bit of news. If you are going to Vidcon in Anaheim next week, I will be at Vidcon, as will a lot of the other PBS Digital Studios crew. PBS is actually putting together a chill lounge that will be going on all weekend, so you can go and you can chill. It'll be a chill sitch. On Thursday and Friday from 2 to 4 in the Chill Lounge, there's gonna be some art assignment stuff going on, so that is really exciting. And on Saturday from 2 to 4 in the Chill Lounge, there is going to be a meetup. So if you wanna come and chill with all of the chill peeps from PBS Digital Studios, come to the Chill Lounge on Saturday. And I'm also doing a panel and a workshop, so if you're interested in checking those things out, we'll put a link to my schedule in the doobly-doo. I hope to see you. Come say hey.